Hello there, everyone. It's been a while, and I wanted to give this video to the Breakfast Club. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this is because it's something that I've been wanting to talk about since it happened to me. And it relates to kind of like what's happening now with journalism and reporting and the freedom of expression and etc. Basically, freedom of expression, writing, creating in general, is basically in danger. It's basically being threatened by not only special snowflakes, but essentially by people who see their name in print, and if it's in a slightly negative light or using an example, and they don't get the whole context of the article itself or the intent, then that writer or that journalist gets attacked. The president has definitely been doing that with the press lately, as we have seen, and the media as a whole. And it's been filtering down to people, whether they're his supporters or people who are just super sensitive anymore, and to the regular folk. Because, well, the president, he's doing it, so, and he's getting away with it. He's not getting into trouble, so I might as well too, because I'm going to see how much I can get away with. So, I'm not going to put any names in this for my story, but I basically write for a pretty prominent vaping e-cig magazine, and I have been for a while. And I wrote a story of someone that came to me to tell her story about something, and it inspired this idea, okay? An idea is how you kind of like online bullying in the community. And even though vaping is kind of a small segment, the community is a small segment of the society, it sometimes is a reflection of the greater society, and I've seen it as a sort of a predictor of what's going to happen within a month or two, or even a year or two, within the greater group, or what's been filtering in on the other side. So the article came out in October, and I suddenly got hit with PMs and DMs on my social media accounts, especially Facebook and Instagram, of people having a fit because of a person that I mentioned who they say has done some bad things, and they thought I took her story more than theirs, and I didn't have the heart to do my research and didn't ask them. Well, suffice it to say, they didn't ask me, and I did look into what they do, and honestly speaking, from what I've gathered and what I've experienced just directly by some people that were mentioned, or some members of the group mentioned, yeah, the article kind of proved itself, or they proved the article in an odd way, but also, it's like, if you're fighting for a noble cause, or you're looking to do good in the world, why not focus on that instead of being a special little snowflake and telling people to screw off or demand a public apology? Why are you focusing on that? If you want good PR, why don't you make yourself good PR instead of becoming the bullies that the writing has proven? And that's the question I have. But I wasn't going to get into it. I didn't get angry. And I didn't feed into it, so there would be shit coming back to me. And then be a cluster. Then the whole point of what the argument was about would be lost. Because I'm better than that. So what I did, and this is what I'm going to suggest to any of you going through the same crap right now, is if you're working for a company, say, talk to my editors. Talk to my supervisor. There are some companies where the workers are told, when it comes to media asking questions, they always say, talk to our manager or supervisor. And you know what? Not only does it save your ass, but you get protection from the organization or whatever you work from. You get, because then they can actually filter. They can kind of skip both sides. They can kind of be apolitical and then make the best assessment and the best statements. Now, granted, it might take a while for it to happen because of this, that, and the other thing. But that's a way to diffuse the situation. And it's also a great way to let the anger settle. But the other issue that came up with me about this is, if this was not such an issue and everything died down, why are you still angry about it? Most people, if something was written about something that happened months ago, even years ago, they say, oh yeah, that's happened. Yeah, I went through it. It sucked, but I've moved on from it. Yet, the majority of people don't do that. It's like they have to hang on to their past because that's something there. It's like they're hanging on to the pain, and that's why they're so miserable. So when something triggers that pain, then that's when they go off. Or when something, and there's got to be something deeper, and that's kind of like what's fascinating to me. But if you're representing something that's supposed to be for the greater good, and you're resorting to tactics that kind of go against the idea of what you're doing, then it kind of defeats the purpose of a noble cause, and really your argument is a moot point. You're just doing a knee-jerk reaction, trying to get a response that you were expecting, and didn't happen. And that's basically what happened with me. But any drama like that, and as somebody who's been cyberbullied all my life, who's been bullied in real life, I saw it for what it was. I saw through it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to be better. I know what you want. I ain't giving it to you. I mean, I even had like a channel respond to me, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this in public because what I represent, I don't want to drag them into it. I don't want to drag anything, even the channel I host. I don't want to do that. And instead, I basically said, hey, if you have the issue, talk to the people who made the decision, not me. I'm just the writer. And so when someone asks me, and I have a couple really good allies in this, when one of them asked me, well, are you angry or are you ashamed that you wrote it? I said, no, I'm not ashamed. I'm not sorry that I wrote the article. I'm just sorry that they got offended. That's it. And that's the story. But it goes to prove, and it's not until you've gone through it that you totally understand everything. Everything clicks, and that's what happened with me. Everything related to journalism, anything related to integrity, the special snowflake, I mean, you name it, things have clicked since then. And suddenly you see the world in a different light and for what it is. And so I'm moving on from it. I'm continuing on. I'm writing some new stuff. But you know, I have been amused by the whole thing because it's been a while since any of my writings have tripped somebody's trigger. And as the old saying goes, you don't know if you've done it right unless you piss somebody off. So obviously I've done something right? Anyways, guys, that's my story, but I wanted to share it. And I hope this is something that we could talk about more on this channel, because it's worth mentioning, it's worth talking about. I know it's been mentioned before, but based on what's been happening now, we got to continue the conversation. So it was nice chatting with you. You guys have a great day. And remember, be the better person in this situation like this. Don't feed into it. Walk away and let them simmer down. Because if you react to the reactionaries, it's just going to make it worse, and then the point's going to be lost. And sadly, that's where we're at in our society right now. So, take care, guys.